wrist roller. What is it? Why on earth would you want to do it for strongman? Let's talk about it.
Why would you want to do it? Strong wrists and forearms go, no pun intended, hand in hand with your event training, such as sandbags, atlas stones, natural stones, keg lifting, log cleans, etc. So hardly anyone ever trains their wrists or forearms. That's a shame because you're really kind of hamstringing yourself when it comes to the events. Traditionally, years ago, if you wanted to do like a wrist roller type of exercise, they'd give you a dowel rod, something like this, and they'd wrap string around it, and you'd do kind of a front hold, and you'd roll it back and forth like this. Your anterior deltoids would just fatigue like super fast, and you wouldn't really get much of a stimulus in your forearms. Later, basically came up with, why don't you just stick it on a bar? Years ago, couldn't afford much, so made one. I think it's probably cost me less than $5 to make this. It's just pipe, like a 2-inch diameter pipe, some rope, and a carabiner. You know, pretty simple. And then we just kind of put it on a pipe, and you can do your wrist rollers like that. Well, we got something a little bit better.
Yeah, this one here is like the Cadillac of wrist rollers. From Iron Mind. It's got knurling on it. It's really nice. When you get done and you let it go, it'll like exfoliate your hands because it's a little grippy.
It's got some nice knurling. Oh, I don't know what it is now, but I think when we bought it, it was like $100. It's a bit of an investment,
yeah.
But I'll tell you, this stuff will last you a lifetime if you take care of it. Yeah. Robin's really good at the wrist roller stuff.
As you would imagine by my huge wrists here.
She's actually really good at it.
But I do like doing it.
Yeah, she's really good at it. I'm not so good at it anymore because, I don't know, I have a ganglion cyst in my wrist, and it just hurts like a son of a gun. So the basic setup is you want to have the bar roughly about shoulder height, shoulder to head height. You want to be able to have enough room to where you can actually extend your arms out. I always like training a wrist roller where you're training the antagonist muscle groups. So you're not just going to train one side of the forearm, you'll train the opposite side as well. Okay, so, but that goes with pretty much anything that you do. You want to have nice balance. So the way we have it set up here is the string or the twine actually goes around towards Robin. So when she wraps her hands around the wrist roller, and you can use body English with this as well. You can like really crank in on it, and that really hits the forearms and wrists hard. When the twine is like wrapped around facing you, that will actually hit the interior of your forearm, like so. And 2 ways you can lower it. You can actually do an eccentric, controlled eccentric, back down like so. Or if you want to, like she said, exfoliate your calluses, just let it slide. I would actually consider that 1 rep, 1 up and down. And you can train this for maximal weight, you can train it for reps, you can train it for, not so much for a timed hold, I think, but basically max weight for like 1 rep, see what you can do all the way up to the top. Or do like, if you really want to be in pain, do like sets of 5 to 10 reps, back down, up and down.
Pretty simple setup. You just got the rope there, and then put your weight on a loading pin attached to the carabiner at the end.
Our loading pin is as old as my original wrist roller, if you can't tell. It's been in the family for a while. Yeah, you can do the strict. You can use a lot of body English. It's almost like cheat curls.
Yeah.
We switched this around. So the twine actually comes out on the outside away. When she's doing the wrist roller this way, you actually hit the upper portion of your forearms. So like I said earlier, you always want to train your antagonist muscle groups. I like to do them combined in the same session. It just creates better muscle and strength balance, in my opinion. If you're a fan of the World's Strongest Man, years ago, they had an event, a wrist roller event. I don't remember the weight that they were using, but they were on like, I don't know, it was like a 2-story building, and they had the wrist roller, and they're doing a race. I don't know if we should bring that back or not.
I think we should bring it back. There's a 2-story building down at the ponds. If you guys have been down there for Illinois' Strongest Man, I think that should be the tiebreaker.
That would be interesting.
We just need another wrist roller, head to head. Just keep going.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
That's a good strongman race right there.
Yeah. So some other options for the wrist roller. Well, one, like for me, it doesn't fare well for me anymore, so I don't really do the wrist roller anymore. But if I do it, I'll use like a thumbless grip, you know? So that actually alleviates some of the tension or pressure. So I'm actually able to do it. I think not as painful. It's more tolerable.
Yeah.
You know,
Still
so,
painful, but less.
Yeah, it's less painful.
There's a bird.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh. Hello.
Everybody wants to get in
Understand.
on the wrist roller.
Say that you don't have a wrist roller. Well, what do? Well, there's a good option, and we'll get it set up next. Here's an option. If you do not have a wrist roller, well, you probably have room in your gym bag for some rope and a carabiner. Use a barbell. Now, word of caution, make sure that you put a counterweight on the other end of the bar. Because if you don't, and if you use an extraordinary amount of weight with this, well, guess what? You're going to probably get a concussion. So what I do is with this is I just make a slip knot, slip it over the bar, tighten it up, and you can just kind of roll it in a few times. The friction, the tension of the rope will pretty much keep it in place, just as long as you have like a good length of twine, not 20 feet, but you want, maybe like 8-10 feet, it would be ample enough for this. And then if they don't have a loading pin, you can actually wrap this around the plates themselves, and that works just as well. With this, we'll use the rolling pin, or the loading pin, I'm sorry. Bars usually on a bushing or roller bearings. It's very smooth. And this is probably will cost you the least amount of money for this exercise. If you have access to a barbell, you got access to a wrist roller. Here's another variation that you can use. You want to train your wrists and forearms? Well, what I like to do, not a lot, I actually prefer doing like barbell or axle wrist curls, but this is a viable option, is to set up the wrist roller or the end of the barbell like so. Use a double overhand grip, but a thumbless grip. Lift the weight off the floor just enough, and then kind of roll it like so. It's almost like a standing wrist curl, like so, like that. You'll have to use a lot of weight with this due to the leverage, but it does hit the wrists and forearms fairly well. And then what you could do is you can actually go around. I don't have enough room right here, but you can go around and do the opposite side, the antagonist muscle groups, and do the same thing. So that's just a different variation if you want a little bit of variety.
Hey. Tell me now, why? Why am I doing this?